Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Okay, let's start again. Okay, we'll just keep going. I got a little chickens coming out. Anyways, welcome back to the podcast, guys. On today's episode is a gentle invitation to come back home to yourself. We're calling this one Back to Me, the journey of rediscovering who you are. Because sometimes life gets loud, the world pulls us in every direction, and we forget who we truly are underneath all the roles, pain, and expectations. This episode is for the woman who's ready to remember herself, piece by piece, moment by moment. So take a breath, get comfy, and let's walk this journey together. All right, guys, let's start with some questions, reflective questions for us. Because like I said, I like these kind of questions because it also helps me learn more about myself. Because every day, as much as we think we know everything, there's always something that we don't know. And that's the fun part of the life experience, right? That we get to learn a little bit more about ourselves, about things, and just be open-minded, right? So let's get started. Who were you before the world told you who to be? I feel like these are some spicy questions, guys, some deep, spicy questions, and I hope it really touches your heart and really take that self-inventory of yourself, of what's holding you back, because sometimes we just let life, take over and we lose control because we're letting others or life situations take control of our lives when we have that control, right? We forget that because everybody does it, right? So we think, well, everybody does it, I guess I have to do it too. Like or like nobody teaches us these things as well, because I've been there myself, where like for the longest I let life, circumstances, people, control my life, and it's not fun, to lose that control over ourselves, or not to know how to take control, because deep down we have control of how we react, maybe not of the situation, but how we're gonna take it, how we're gonna react, how we're gonna let that circumstance or that person change us. It could either be good for the good or for the bad, and it's always better to let it transform us into a better us, whatever it is, because good or bad, everything happens for a reason. So the question is, who were you before the world told you who to be? Who were you before maybe your parents told you who to be? Who were you before you were with this person that you are? Who were you before you had kids? Who were you before that ugly experience? Who were you before you started changing into somebody that you're not? Like, who were you? Do you remember? Like think about this, guys, because like for me, like going down this rabbit hole, it makes me think, okay, who was I before that breakup? Who was I before this accident happened to me? Who was I? Right? And taking that self-inventory of who you were before whatever happened to you to be who you are today. Do you like who you are today for you to keep going? Do you like who you're becoming? And if not, you have that control to change who you are. You have that control to be who you truly want to be. It's just taking little steps each day, intentional steps to being better, being who you truly want to be, regardless of what other people think or say. Like, have that. And it's easier said than done, yes. But once you go down that road, it really gets easier, because you start thinking like, okay, I'm doing this for me because I want to be better around the people I love. I'm doing this for me, because if I don't take care of me first, then I can't be good around other people, or I can't show up as my best self. And we have to show up, first of all, for ourselves. Show up for yourself every time. Like, keep your promises. Sometimes I've been there too, where like I tell myself, okay, today I'm gonna really go hard on my workouts this week, and then I mess up a day, and it's like, fuck, like, oh, sorry for my cussing. Then I'm like, dang, like, I told myself, and that I was gonna do this, and then I end up beating myself up about it, and it's not fun. But I mean, it's part of the journey. Like, having those moments where like you mess up, and then you're like, okay, next time I'm gonna do what I told myself I'm gonna do, because I don't like the way I feel when I don't keep my promise, type of thing. And so just keep going, make little changes every time, and we're good. And it's okay to feel like you mess up. Just pick yourself back up, because sometimes we really drag ourselves thinking, oh, like, I fucked up, I told myself I was gonna do this, or I told myself I wasn't gonna say yes to this person again, and I did it again. Just keep practicing. Maybe it takes practice. A lot of things take practice. Like, being positive takes practice. Being discipline takes practice. It's not like you say to yourself, oh, today, this week for sure, I'm gonna be disciplined. No, it's like, it takes practice. Like, yes, it starts with us deciding, but then it takes practice, day by day, moment by moment. Like, sometimes we think about down the road, like, oh, I still have to do all this, and to complete my whatever you're doing. Maybe it's a business you have, and you're slacking on it. Maybe it's schoolwork. Maybe it's being around, like, being a better person to be around, like maybe your family, your kids. Like, maybe you told yourself you were gonna be a better mom, not yell too much, because sometimes we also have those moments when we let the situation take control, right? Because I've been there too. Then I'd be yelling out my lungs, and I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, and then I apologize, but to keep doing it and then apologizing, and then that's not really helping us, because like, we think just by apologizing it's gonna get better, but it's a step. It's still a step. So yes, guys, keep going, keep doing what you have to do. Next question. What parts of yourself have you silenced just to keep the peace? This is a really good question, because a lot of us do this. A lot of us, like, we don't speak up. We don't speak up how we truly feel. Sometimes we feel that expressing ourselves is gonna make somebody mad, or that person, like, telling that person how you really feel. It could be your kids, it could be your spouse, a friend, a coworker. Like, you feel that if you speak up about something that you don't agree with, that it's gonna create a problem, and then you guys are not gonna be good anymore. And honestly, having those hard conversations are a key, are super important to better our relationships. If you think about it, having those hard conversations, how many times have you had a hard conversation, and after that hard conversation, like it was hard, but then like things, like you felt like something got out of your chest, like that pressure got off your chest, because you were like, oh, finally I said that I've been wanting to say for the longest. And it feels good, right? Even though it's hard in the moment to like start the conversation or tell this person, or sometimes we end up telling them in a way that wasn't the best way. We end up yelling at this person or texting these mean things because we didn't express it when we started having these feelings or not being like, how do you say it? Not being de acuerdo. ¿Cómo se dice? If you know Spanish, you know what I mean. If you didn't agree with certain things and you let it, like to not say anything to maintain the peace, you just keep putting it off. Oh, I'll tell them later. Oh, it's okay. Like maybe like they were having a bad day, or like we keep making excuses, right, for people because we're like, oh, it's okay. Like they didn't mean it, or this and that, but they're good. Like even though like they're not good at that, but like they're nice around this, like on other things. So we make excuses and we end up not talking about that thing that bothers us, or we keep saying yes to things we truly don't want to say yes to, and it sucks because you keep like doing these things and like you start creating all this resentment, and then when you do have to talk about it, you end up yelling and saying like really mean, hurtful words that you can't take back. So taking that moment to really, stand up for ourselves, speak what we have to speak. So for you guys, what has it been? What parts of yourself have you silenced just to keep the peace? It's sad because I feel like as women, and I feel like men too, like, and I like to also like say men too, because a lot of men don't know how to speak how they feel because they feel like it's weak. They feel like if they express themselves is weak, like they're gonna be taken as like they're not man enough. And it's sad because like I'm also a mom, and I also have I'm also a mom of a son, and I also have a dad. So talking to them, like I like to talk to my son and let him know that it's okay to express himself, that he doesn't have to be quiet, like stay quiet over things that he wants to express. Like even if the other person takes it wrong, it could be in anything, work-wise, relationship, even with myself. I told him, like, if there's ever something I say that you don't like, or that you're not like you don't agree, you don't have to agree with me. Just say, you know what, mom, like I don't agree with this, blah blah blah. And I've also told him, like, whatever you feel, like I could give you advice, but whatever you feel at the end of the day, you need to make that decision that you need to make it. You learn from it anyways, if it was meant to be or not meant to be, whatever. And for my dad too, like I wish he would express himself a little more, but I see how he is. Like he's really reserved with his, with how he truly feels, and how I feel like he keeps a lot of things, to himself. And it sucks because I feel like we could have a better relationship if he knew how to express himself. Like for me, it's hard to express myself with him because he's really like closed. Like I cannot talk to him in a way that I wish I could. And a lot, maybe right there, I need to work on that, right? Like I'm like silencing myself, not shrinking myself, but I'm silencing myself how I truly feel, how I wish I could speak to my dad. Not necessarily to keep the peace, but because I'm embarrassed. But growing up, I did kept a lot of things to myself because I thought speaking up how I truly felt, and it was in everything, like with my parents and relationships, romantic relationships, and sometimes even in my parenting. I felt like I couldn't express myself because I didn't want to cause problems. I didn't want to disturb the peace. So I kept, shoving everything down a rug. Like, oh no, it's okay. It'll be okay. Like things happen. Like sometimes we really need to like speak up. Like I encourage you guys to speak your mind. Like be bold. And even if it's hard, like hard conversations are necessary in every area. Like think about it, even work-wise, if we don't speak up, like at work, like if there's something okay that maybe you can't, you know, for example, maybe you want to raise and you're like, you know, staying silent because you're like, oh no, like I don't want to cause problems, or maybe with a coworker, you're having some beef with some coworker and you're like, nah, like if I say something, then things are gonna escalate. And then like we end up staying quiet and quiet. But I feel like this happens more like in every area, but I feel like when it comes to romantic relationships, I feel like a lot of men and women struggle to not speak up. And it sucks. Like I feel like having deep conversations on a regular basis, you know, about everything and anything, like, you know, how was your day? How was your week? What are your goals? Like having those kind of conversations instead of staying quiet because you think like what you have to say doesn't matter. And it, like, you shouldn't feel like that, you know, like all of us, all of you guys are valuable, are worthy of being listened to, of expressing yourself, and you guys shouldn't have to stay quiet. All right, next question. When was the last time you felt most like you, unfiltered, unbothered, and at peace? When was that for you guys? Some of you guys are probably gonna say when I was drunk last week, or when I was smoking, or some people feel that's how they feel most like them. And that's where the problem comes in, because why do we have to drink or do drugs to feel at peace, to feel more like us, you know? And what happens there is that because we're not taking personal responsibility to know ourselves, to process our emotions, you know, a lot of us, we're afraid of our own emotions, that we rather numb them with alcohol, with drugs, with food, with going out, distracting yourself with friends because you don't want to, you know, take care of yourself in that way, like your emotional health, your mental health. You're like, oh, it's okay. Like, if I go out, everything's going to be okay. Like, you just keep putting it under a rug. And what happens one day? You end up exploding. You end up, you know, not being the best you around others. And you know what? Like, that happens a lot. Like, if you notice, like, certain people that ask for love in the most unloving ways is because they haven't processed emotions, and they haven't like took the time to know themselves. And you know what? Knowing ourselves, like, we could know ourselves in one way today, and then next year or next month, like, we're a whole different person. Like, we are constantly rediscovering ourselves. If you think about it, we are constantly changing. And a lot of us, I feel like we hold like a lot of like guilt, and maybe, I don't know, like so much like guilt of like changing, or right? Because sometimes like a lot of people don't know how to take change the right way. We're like, oh, like, I wish I used to be how I was back in this time. Oh, back in my days, this and that. Like, remember this, remember that. Or like, or when we tell a person, oh, like, you used to be like this, we end up throwing it in their faces. Like, oh, well, you used to be like this, and now you've changed, and blah, blah. Like, think about it. We are supposed to change. We're not going to be the same person, not even the same person we were last week. That's how much we're changing every day. Like, every day, like, we're changing, we're absorbing things, like, sometimes like consciously, sometimes unconsciously. If you're taking the time to rediscover yourself and know yourself, then you know what you're doing is to better yourself. But there's people out there that, you know, they're not doing anything, or because they don't know what to do or how to take those steps, and they end up adopting habits and lifestyles from the people around them that maybe they don't even like that stuff, but they feel like that's the way to be because that's all they know. And it doesn't have to be like that, guys. Like, choose who you want to be and work for that person. The best investment you could do is investing in yourself, investing that time, that care, that love, all in you, pour into you, and watch how you start changing into a better you, and you start attracting better and being better around other people, and they even like to be around you because you give them good vibes. That's why when you feel good vibes around certain people, it's for a reason. It's because they're working on themselves. They probably know themselves so good that they project good vibes on other people. When you feel bad vibes around certain people, why is it? Because they're projecting their bad juju, right? Because they don't know themselves, so they feel like they have to be this angry, sad, ugly people because they don't know any better. They haven't processed their emotions long enough to know that that's not who they truly are, and that they have the control to be who they truly are or who they truly want to be. Removing those things, removing fear, removing sadness, removing shame, guilt, removing all those things that you're not. That's taking self-inventory. You're make a list. Okay, who am I and who am I not? Make a list of who you're not and make a list of who you are, and then you'll know who you truly are and who you truly want to be. All right, next question. Let's see, where was I left? When was the last time you felt most like you, unfiltered, unbothered, and at peace? Yeah, we talked about that one. Next question. What's something you used to love that you've stopped doing, and why? What's something you used to love that you stopped doing, and why? What is it for you guys? Maybe you used to maybe it was a certain hobby. Maybe you were so passionate about a hobby, a sport that you used to do, that you were so passionate about. What was that for you, and why did you stop doing it? And if you love it so much, why not go back to it? Something that you really love. Maybe it was, exercising or journaling. Maybe you used to journal a lot, and and it was helping you, and then you stopped. Why? Maybe you used to work out a lot at some point in your life and you felt so good, but then you stopped. Why? Maybe you used to maybe draw. Maybe you like to draw. You used to love it so much, and then you stopped. Why? What else? There's so many things. What is it for you guys? And then if you could start doing that again, or maybe think of things that you love that could bring that spark in you, and do it again. Sometimes, sometimes we do things with excitement. Maybe it's starting a new workout, or a new habit, healthy habit. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's what else? So many things out there that I can't even think about right now. The things I like to do, for example, it's reading, exercising, hiking, listening to podcasts that help me on a continuous basis. For me, learning, feeding my mind things that I know are gonna improve me. I like that. That makes me feel alive. That makes me feel like I'm doing something good for myself. So I keep doing those things. And right now, honestly, I I think I used to do that back, like, for example, back when I was young and my kids were little, I used to love to exercise. Well, especially like, okay, I started working out since middle school. For me, it was since middle school, and I felt good. And then going to high school, I was still doing it, and then I stopped for a long period of time. And now that I go back and I remember when in that time that I had stopped, I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel good about myself. And now that I remember, it was in that period of time that I had stopped working on myself, that I had stopped working out. And because working out is like, it's taking care of yourself, basically. So when I stopped doing that, I remember, like, I felt bad. I didn't know, like, how, like, why I felt bad. But then years later, like, I connected the dots, and I was like, oh, this is why I felt like that, because I used to do these things for me, and then I stopped. And I think I stopped because I was dating. So see, these are the things that we shouldn't do. Like, we shouldn't stop doing what we love just because another person comes into our lives. Like, not just because we start dating. Like, they have to respect our me time, our, you know, having those boundaries with a romantic partner. Like, it's very necessary. And, you know, to keep a healthy relationship, a powerful relationship, like, you guys have to keep doing what you were doing before the relationship. Don't let yourself go just because you're with this person. Don't feel that, oh, like, well, I'm with this person now, I have to, like, you put them so much on a pedestal that you let yourself go. And if you think about it, that person must have been attracted to you because of all these things you used to do. And then what happens then? Like, all of a sudden, they're not attracted to you. They're like, oh, well, like, you changed. Or, I mean, we're supposed to change, but in a good way. When we change in ways that are not benefiting us, like, the other person is going to feel it. So if you were doing, you know, a lot of things for yourself, like taking care of yourself, like by working out, like I said, maybe there's a certain sport that you used to love doing, and then you stopped because you thought you had to stop because of this person that you have to pay attention to. And it's okay, like, having those moments together, but then also having that time apart, like, just you, to reconnect to yourself, and then to be able to be a better, you know, person around, like, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. And that's how powerful relationships are made. Like, it's not by, like, letting yourself go and like putting all that work on the other person, like that other person has to fill your cup. Like, what the heck? No, like, you take care of yourself, you do what you have to do, and that other person is gonna add to your life, not complete you, not, you know, do the work for you. Nobody is supposed to do the work for us. We have to fill our cups, we have to take care of ourselves. Nobody's gonna drag us to go work out, or nobody's gonna tell you not to eat that even though it's unhealthy for you. You have to choose that for yourself too. Like, take that personal responsibility, girls and guys. All right, next question. If fear wasn't in the way, what would you try or return to today? If fear wasn't in the way, what would you try or return to today? The question is a little confusing at the end, where it says, what would you try or return to today? So if fear wasn't in the way, guys, what is something you would go for? What is something you would take the chance and be like, you know what, I'm doing this. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's that relationship that you've been wanting to, you know, talk to that person and be like, you know, start a conversation. Maybe it's starting a new job that you've been putting off because, like, you're scared to, like, not make it, and then you have to go back to your old job. Like, what is it? What would you do, or what would you go back to if fear wasn't in the way? For me, let me see. If fear, I mean, because we could feel fear and still go for it, you know? Like, there's a lot of things I feel scared of. Like, one thing that scares me, and I didn't want to say this, but I have to say it because it's true. I'm afraid to one day be in a romantic relationship again. Like, and what I'm afraid of, because I've thought about this question many times. So I'm like, okay, why am I afraid to be in a romantic relationship? Because I feel like I pushed, guys away because I'm not ready, and because they're not my type either. I feel afraid to let myself go again, because that's what I did. Every time I was in a romantic relationship, I would always let myself go, thinking that I had to always do what that person wanted, and I had it all twisted. I had it wrong. Like, now I know. So maybe, like, if I do ever enter another romantic relationship, like, since I know what I want now and I know myself and I know who I am, I feel like things will be much more different, because I do speak up now. Like, if something, like, I don't agree with, I'm gonna say something. I'm not gonna stay quiet like I used to. When I used to ignore red flags, I used to ignore things that, I shouldn't, that I shouldn't have, and I did, and it ended up, like, breaking me to the point where, like, I lost myself. I didn't know how to love myself, and I let people walk all over me, right? And it's like, and I see that in many people that are struggling with relationships. I'm like, I wish I could talk to them, give them advice, but it's not right either for me to, like, go up to their faces and be like, you know what? I see this is what you need to do. Like, I noticed this, like, maybe you should try this or that. I wish I could sometimes, but I'm like, I need to shut up. I can't do that, because I wouldn't like it either, right? If somebody came up to me and be like, girl, like, why are you doing this? You should be doing that, or, it's not cool. I mean, even though you have good intentions, like, sometimes it's not okay, to do those things. Maybe with the people we love, yeah, like, because we love them and we feel like that's another thing. Like, when we love our people, loving our people is also being honest, being truthful with our people, and letting them know where they're fucking up, and be like, you know what? You've been slacking on this. You should get back on this, or like, oh, I don't like the way, something, like, having those hard conversations. I'm telling you, like, they're necessary to take the relationship to the next level, and relationships come not only in romantic relationships, but the relationship with your parents, with your kids, with friends, with the world. Like, taking, I mean, obviously you're not going to talk to a stranger and tell them, like, your stuff, but I mean, like, seriously, like, taking care of our relationships with our close ones is having hard conversations. It really is. And oh, sorry, I had a burp. Not holding back, because think about it, having those hard conversations are so necessary to take the relationship to another level. Maybe they'll love you more, maybe they'll trust you more, like, they'll feel more comfortable to come to you when they're struggling with something. Because when we don't have these hard conversations, then it's hard to open up with that person, because you're like, oh no, what if they don't want to even listen to me, or blah blah blah. Like, talk to them, like, no matter how hard it is. I've been practicing that a lot, even with my kids. I'll tell them, like, their things, and then I'll give them advice too. And well, I've always had that with them, though. I need to practice those conversations more with my parents. And I've had some where, like, I really had to express myself, and back in my younger days I didn't know how, and now, like, I've tried to, like, talk to them, and after that conversation, like, it's so cool how we feel closer, like we feel more like, oh, like I could talk to you because we had this hard conversation. I don't know, but it's really powerful, dudes. All right, next conversation. Next question. What version of yourself are you grieving, and what version are you growing into? What version of yourself are you grieving, and what version are you growing into? This is a good, really cool question, because like it's sometimes we like I didn't know that was a thing until I started connecting certain dots of how I felt in certain points in my life. And I didn't realize that I felt a certain way because I was grieving. Maybe like when I was a teenager and I became an adult, I didn't realize I was grieving the change of being a teenager to an adult, taking, adult responsibilities. And like when we enter that time in our lives when we go from teenagers to adults, right? I feel like, I don't know if that's happened to you guys, but like I was grieving my old self, my kid self, and I didn't know how to be as an adult, like taking, adult responsibilities, right? Like, having to work, or if you were going back to school, like going to college. I didn't go to college, so I can't say I did that, but it was, getting out to the workforce and working, taking care of myself, my bills, and then the things you have to that's like a good example of how you have to rediscover yourself then, because it's like, okay, you were a teenager for this amount of years, right? What is it, 13? Yeah, 13 to 18. So it's what? Let me see, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 6 years. I had to count it. 6 years you were a teenager, right? And then that's why, if you think about it, from being a kid to then being a teenager, all that emotional roller coaster we go through as teenagers, right? Because we're also grieving from when we were kids. When we're kids, like, everything slides. You're not afraid of anything. You just do it because you're gonna do it. And then once you're a teenager, you start like grieving. I guess we start grieving that moment of our lives when we were kids, and we did like all these things without being afraid. And then we're teenagers, and then we enter a new era where it's like you don't know yourself. You have to rediscover yourself, and like, what is it, like, know what you like again, because it's like you think that what your friends like you have to like, but then you don't really like, and then you don't really know how to go through those things. And if you don't have parents that talk to you, then you feel like even more lost, right? So it's like we grieve certain moments in our lives that we don't realize that we wish we were like that. And once you understand that, like, you start, like, it's like that emotional pain you feel of grieving a certain, version of you that you were in the past. It just dissolves. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I'm making sense, but you know what I mean? And it's true. Like, we go through life, you become this person, and sometimes you become people that maybe, like, you learned, like I said, we learn all these habits or ways of being from, our caregivers or friends or society, whatever. Like, so we think we have to be that way, not knowing that we could choose who to be. We could be ourselves. And that's really powerful. Being authentic is really powerful. And if you think about that, when you really take that moment to be yourself, to be who you truly want to be, it's like so empowering. You feel empowered. Yeah, that's the word. It makes you feel empowered because you're like, I am who I want to be, and I'm not like obviously being somebody that's not causing, what's it called? Not pain, because sometimes the way we change could sometimes cause pain to other people. But if you're changing for the good, keep doing that, because sometimes like we change so much that we start outgrowing people. Certain friendships, certain relationships end up breaking because we change into this other person that they don't know and they're not comfortable with anymore, especially if you were a people pleaser, if you were, somebody that always did stuff for them, and then you want to change into another person, of like another version of you that doesn't want to do that no more, that wants to take her power back by being authentic to yourself, by being who you truly want to be, taking care of yourself, respecting yourself. Some people could take it the wrong way, especially if it's friendships or romantic relationships. They're like, oh, who are you trying to be now? And then what happens then? Like you end up feeling bad because you're like, oh, oh, I need to shrink myself back to being this, because if not, this person or this person is not gonna like me anymore. And that is the worst thing you could do, guys. Don't ever shrink yourselves. If you're one of those people, like, know that you could take your power back by being fully who you are. Like, even if it's okay if other people get upset. Like, being misunderstood is one of the things we have to get comfortable with, because sometimes we're afraid to being misunderstood because we're changing so much into like a version that we love, and then people take it the wrong way. People, you say things maybe like you didn't mean it in a bad way, but people take it the wrong way. So it's okay to be misunderstood, as long as you're doing it to better yourself. It's not like you're doing it to harm others. I don't know, but keep going, guys. Whatever you guys are doing to better yourself, keep going. Keep shining your light. Yes. All right, next question. Oh yeah, the other question from the question from the question I just talked about, what version of yourself are you grieving, and what version are you growing into? So think about that. What version are you growing into, and do you love it, or do you need to maybe tweak it a little bit? Like, okay, like I'm not liking this, but I could do this. I don't know. Just saying. All right, next question. What would your inner child thank you for right now? What would your inner child thank you for right now? What would it be for you guys? Like, for you guys, what is your inner child? Like, when you think about your inner child, what do you think about? Is that happy little person, that fearless little person inside you, that loving little person inside you? Like, what is your inner child for you guys? For me, it's that little girl that just wanted love, that just wanted to love others, that just wanted to be happy, that just wanted to make others happy, that just is fearless, That's my inner child for me. And I feel, okay, so the question says, what would your inner child thank you for right now? So what's something you guys can do, or what is something your inner child is asking you to do to honor your inner child? Sometimes, like for me, I had like a lot of inner child wounds around not feeling enough. So when I started acknowledging my inner child, telling my inner child, you are enough, You are loved. I love you, and you are safe. Like when I started telling that to my inner child, like it was so powerful, because I didn't realize how many, like, that those wounds of not feeling loved, like, kept me from being the best version of me. It kept me from shining my light. I thought I wasn't worthy of love. Like, I had a lot of worth issues as a kid. Like, I didn't feel enough, even though, like, both my parents, like, were good, in their own way. They loved me, and I had good parents, and they're still together and everything. Like, I don't know why I felt, maybe because I wanted to be loved in a certain way, and I wasn't, because, like, I don't know, I mean, a lot of parents are not, like, really, like, lovey-doveys. Like, they're not really, like, in tune with their emotions, so they don't know how to express, like, love the way you would want to. This is why, like, I've told you guys before how important it is to know our kids' love language. Every kid has a different love language. Like, some of them, like, they need a lot of affection, a lot of hugs, a lot of, words of affirmation, like, oh, I love you, like, telling them constantly, oh, like, I'm proud of you, or I love you, or hugging them. Like, learning our kids' love language is very important. And that's why I had to learn how to reparent myself and love myself how I wanted to be loved as a kid. And it works. It works, because now I feel more like me, because I'm loving myself. I'm giving myself that love that I wanted as a kid. So give that to your inner child, whatever it is. What would your inner child thank you for right now? What is something you need to tell your inner child? And say what you have to say. Okay, next question. What habits, people, or mindsets are no longer aligned with the person you are becoming? That's a good one. Think about it, guys. What habits, people, or mindsets are no longer aligned with the person you are becoming? What habits do you have that are not aligned with the person you want to be? Are you lazy? Are you let me see. Are you always gossiping? Are you, let me see. Or what people are around that are not helping with your growth? Are you in, with, like, certain friends that are not, in alignment with who you're becoming? Maybe it's time to, like, take some steps back from those people, instead of holding, like letting those people hold you back from who you truly want to be. Maybe a mindset. What is your mindset right now that you feel you have to work on, that is not aligning with the person you're becoming? What kind of mindset, what kind of beliefs do you have? Do you feel you could do what you set your mind to do? Do you feel worthy? Do you feel, because even like feeling worthy, feeling, empowered, it's a mindset. Feeling happy, it's a mindset. It's like feeling positive, it's a mindset. Like, what is your mindset around, your life, yourself? Like, are you able to do what you set your mind to do? Are you, what are your beliefs? Do you believe, around money? Like, what do you believe around money? Do you believe money is good? Money is evil? Some people believe it's evil. I believe it's good. Money is good. It helps you create, it helps you pay bills. It helps you, buy stuff. It helps you create good memories, because you get to maybe go to, take some vacations. It helps you, maybe go do your hair, do your nails. Money is good. A lot of people feel that, what I've heard about, I don't know, that, a limiting belief around money is that there's not enough, or that only rich people have money and you feel unworthy of it because whatever reason, because you were born poor, because you were always struggling with money, so you feel you have to always and forever struggle with money. Like, that's a mindset that we have to shift from. We have to be like, okay, there is enough for everybody. Money is good. There's growth for everybody. There's abundance of everything, abundance of love, abundance of money, abundance of joy, abundance of everything. Like believe in those things, guys. Like, believe in empowering stuff that's gonna help you get to the next level of who you're becoming. All right, next question. What do you want to feel more of in your life? And what's one small step that you can get that can get you there? And what's one small step that can get you there? So what is it for you guys? What do you want to feel more of in your life? Is it more love? Is it more joy? Is it more empowered? Is it more, you want to feel more productive? You want to feel more connected? For me, I'm working more on my connection with God, because for me, God is first. And I didn't realize for a long time. I kind of had him on a second, like everything I was doing it under my own strength, not realizing that I could ask God. Ask and you shall receive, right? It says in the Bible, ask and you shall receive. But sometimes we feel unworthy that we don't even ask. We gotta ask, guys. Don't forget to ask God, or whatever you believe in. Ask. What do you want to get better at? What do you want in your life? You're all worthy of it. If you think you're not, stop thinking you're not, because you are. If you feel ashamed about something, work on that. Whatever is holding you back, that shame, that guilt, that unforgiveness, check what that is for you and let it go. It's not serving you. Let go of what's not serving you if you want to be a better you. That was one thing I had to work on for a long time too, because I didn't realize, I still hold it unforgiveness in certain areas of my life, of the way I grew up. I didn't realize I was holding resentment towards my parents, for not loving me how I wanted to be loved. It wasn't their fault. They did the best they could with what they knew. And coming to that realization, I feel it made me feel so much better. Like, coming to that realization that they did the best they could with what they knew and what they had, and that I'm loved, realizing that I'm loved, and that it's my job to love myself too and connect with God. Like, those things make me feel empowered now. Like, learning to forgive. Maybe you haven't forgave that person that hurt your feelings, because when you were a kid, it could be from so many years ago. Maybe somebody told you something that you didn't like, that hurt your feelings, and you're still holding resentment towards that person. Maybe a breakup, maybe a friend, maybe a relative, a sibling. What are you holding on to that is not helping you move forward? Whatever it is, it's time to work on that. It's time to let that go. If you want to free yourself, it starts in your mind. Let that go, because it's all in your mind. Whatever unforgiveness, whatever beef you have with other people, it's all in your head. Release that from your mind. Tell yourself, I I let this pain go. It's not serving me. I let this shame go. It's not serving me. I let this unforgiveness go. It's not serving me. Whatever is not serving you, let it go. Free yourself. Believe in forgiveness. Believe in love. Believe in all those good things that empower you. That's what you should believe in. Don't believe in those. Don't believe in lack. Don't believe in like not enough, or if you don't feel enough, don't believe in that. Believe in that you are enough. Believe that you are everything you need. Whatever it is, believe in better things, in greater, grander things. All right. Last question. How would your life change if you gave yourself full permission to evolve? How would it be for you guys? How would your life be if you gave yourself permission to evolve? Would you be going for that career? Would you be, what kind of person would you be if you gave yourself permission to evolve? What how would you feel? Most of all, like, how would you feel if you gave yourself permission to be that person you want to be? Maybe you want to be a more loving person. Maybe you want to be a more confident person. Maybe you want to be successful, however that looks like for you. It could be successful in your marriage, successful in like the way you parent, successful in your job, successful in a career, in a business. How would you feel? And feel that. Give yourself permission to feel that empoweredness in you, feel that wholeness in you of having that you want. All right, guys. I hope you guys really took something good out of these questions. I get fired up with these kind of questions because I like to help others. I like to help them see what they don't see. Maybe they're looking through life in the lens of lack, in the lens of not enough, or they're looking through life in the lens of shame, guilt. Remove those glasses and put yourself new lenses, guys. Remove those glasses and put yourself some love glasses, some worthy glasses, and see life through that, and see your life change. Wherever you are on your journey of rediscovery, just know you're not behind, you're not broken, and you're not lost. You're unfolding. Every time you choose yourself, even in small ways, you come back to who you really are. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. Keep listening to your heart. Keep being gentle with your soul. And most of all, keep coming back to you. All you see. I'll see you in the next episode. But until then, stay true, stay soft, and stay rising, guys. All right, so let's close this with an affirmation, all right? Remember this affirmation and practice it throughout the day. I am not who the world told me to be. I am who I choose to become. With each breath, I return to my truth. I honor who I've been, who I am, and who I am becoming. I am home within myself. Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and it helps you in some way. All right, guys. Until next time. All right. Stay strong, stay rising, stay true to yourself. Bye.